most of your Walt Disney World vacation.
The top 6 restaurants at Disney's Hollywood Studios. Hi, I'm Herb Leibacher, and welcome to episode number 86 of the World of Walt podcast. Make the most of your Walt Disney World vacation for the week of August 21st, 2016. This is the podcast for Walt Disney World fans. Whether you're planning your next trip or just enjoy reliving a little bit of Disney magic. Today, the podcast is sponsored by Ear to Their Travel. If you're planning a trip to any Disney destination, give Phil at Ear to Their Travel a call. Phil is a former Disney cast member, so he really knows how Disney works. He can help you plan all the details of your next vacation at no extra cost to you, while making sure you get the best deal on your trip. You can reach Phil at eartotheirtravel.com. Disney's Hollywood Studios is a park in transition, but there's still plenty to do and see and eat. Some of the best themed and most delicious restaurants at Walt Disney World are at Disney's Hollywood Studios. So today we're going to take a look at the top 6 restaurants at Disney's Hollywood Studios. Joining me today to discuss this is a former Disney Imagineer and all-round nice guy, Brian Collins. Brian, welcome back.
Thank you. You know, in addition to being a former Disney Imagineer, I love to eat, as anyone who knows me knows. So this is a perfect topic for me to chime in on.
That's a good
Disney
combination.
and food.
2 topics that go together well.
Yeah.
So today we are coming to you from the writer's shop at Disney's Hollywood Studios, so you might hear some folks in the background. I think it's a little bit ironic that we're not writing in the writer's shop,
right.
We're recording in the writer's shop, but I guess it's still okay.
Yes.
Okay, so here's our list.
Although I am a former show writer, so there you go. There's always a connection.
It makes sense that way. Okay, top 6 restaurants at Disney's Hollywood Studios. Number 1, Brian, we're over to you.
So if I had to pick my number 1 favorite restaurant, not only at the studios, but one of my favorite restaurants anywhere in the world, it would be the Sci-Fi Drive-In Diner. If you've ever been to that, it is, to me, I think just one of the coolest themed restaurants. You go inside and you're transported to a 1950s drive-in, and all of the tables and booths look like cars that are parked in front of a big screen, and they've got the most hokey 1950s, campy science fiction movie trailers playing. So you get to kind of watch that while you're eating your dinner in your car. And the waiters and waitresses come around on roller skates, if I'm not mistaken, and take your orders and stuff. It's just a very, very cool, fun, unique restaurant.
I like that the tables are set up in cars, and I think the movies make the place too. So Plan B from Outer Space, if I remember right. And the 50-foot tall woman, and the blob. So a lot of fun stuff there. And the food's pretty good too, actually. They make a mean milkshake there.
They do, yes.
All right. It's a good choice for number 1, Sci-Fi Dine-In. Number 2 over to me, and I think I'm going to pick the only table service restaurant on our list, and I'm going to head down Sunset Boulevard and go to Fairfax Fair. So as you're headed towards the Tower of Terror, it's on the left-hand side, and there are a number of stations there where you can buy lots of different things to eat, but one that I really enjoy is the ribs. You can get it with baked beans and corn on the cob, and it's probably a close runner-up, if not a tie, to the ribs over at Disney's Animal Kingdom.
Really?
And yeah, pretty good stuff.
Wow.
Pretty good stuff.
And I do like me some ribs, so maybe I'm going to have to check that place out.
Yeah. Wow. And actually a pretty good price for what you get, I would say. Yeah. So you don't get the benefit of air conditioning or table service, but you get some mighty good food there.
Wow, very good. Cool.
That was number 2. So number 3, Brian, back to you.
So number 3, I'm going to go with another one of the classic restaurants out here at the studios, which is the 50s Primetime Cafe. You walk in that place and you're transported back to, again, 1950s Americana, and all the tables have like the little boomerang design on them, and mom is back in the kitchen cooking. You sit down, the waiters and waitresses all remind you and tell you the house rules when you come in to sit down, that there's no running around. You have to wash your hands before you eat. You have to clean your plate, and if you don't clean your plate, they're going to come by and yell at you and make sure that you're eating all your vegetables, because if you don't get dessert. Just a wonderful fun restaurant. Lots of wonderful TVs in there that are playing again on the TV screens. There's like 1950s sitcoms like Dennis the Menace and Father Knows Best and stuff. Just a really fun themed restaurant to go with kids.
Yeah, I agree. I always like seeing I Love Lucy playing on the TVs,
Yeah.
and I think they have the scene from the Chocolate Factory,
Right.
if I remember right, which is a lot of
classic.
fun. Yeah, and they have a lot of fun salt and pepper shakers, just all of the different trinkets around make
Yeah.
for a fun environment.
Yeah, and if you get a good waiter or waitress in there that plays up the roles, I mean, you're just going to have a really fun time at dinner. So.
Yeah, yep. And they make a mighty good meatloaf too, which
And their pot roast is, I will tell you, to die for. It's a great pot roast there too.
yeah, I learned that's the way to Brian Collins' heart is through the pot roast.
Yeah, we just had dinner there tonight, as a matter of fact.
It was very good.
It was good.
Yep. All right, that was number 3, 50s Primetime Cafe. Number 4, back over to me. So I'm going to head to a back corner of the park, which is definitely under construction right now, but still a fun place to go, which is Mama Melrose. And I think one of the interesting things about Mama Melrose that sort of takes it beyond just a typical Italian is the fact that a lot of the food is prepared in a wood-burning oven. And then you have a lot of classic Italian food there, like chicken parmesan or the penne al vodka. There are a lot of things made with vodka, which maybe makes makes the dinner much more fun. I'm not sure, but the food is really good, and the environment's got all kinds of fun things to look at.
Yeah. Mama Melrose's, for me, has got a really interesting memory built into it. So when I was working at WDI, this is going way back when, we were working on a trailer on the back lot of the studios, and one of the creative directors came into the trailer one day where we're all walking. He's like, "Hey guys, come on outside, come on, you gotta check this out." So we all go outside, and it's snowing, and we're looking around going, "Wow, that's like really snowing." It's like 90 degrees, in the middle of summer in Orlando, but it was snowing. And he had gotten one of the very first prototypes of the snowmaking machines that blow out the soap, and it looks like soap bubbles, but it looks like snow, which today they're relatively commonplace. Most people have seen those, but back then, this is like the first generation, so none of us had ever seen that before. And there are all these Imagineers out there, like little kids, which most of us are anyway, just kind of like playing around in the snow, and they decided, well, where should we put this thing? So they thought for the holidays, what we'll do is we'll deck out the alleyway right by Mama Melrose's in like Christmas lights and decorations and Christmas trees, and we'll put the snow machine up there and blow snow out for the guests, which is what they did, and it was a huge hit. But that's one of my favorite fun memories as an Imagineer.
They were onto something big now, just like you're saying. Those snow machines, as I like to call them, are everywhere.
Yeah.
And really a fun effect.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I'll actually miss seeing that at the Streets of America with the Osborne lights.
Right,
Now
exactly.
that those are part of history.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
All right, that was number 4, Mama Melrose. Number 5, Brian, back over to you.
So number 5. So my my restaurant for that one is going to be the Brown Derby, famous Brown Derby, and the Brown Derby at the studios is a nod to the Brown Derby restaurant that was in California. And if I remember correctly, the original Brown Derby in California wasn't shaped like a Brown Derby, I don't think, but on the inside, it is very similar to the original Hollywood restaurant. When you go inside the Brown Derby here, you're going to look on the walls, and there are autographed pictures all over the place of stars, and of course they're vintage stars from back then. All of those, or most of those pictures are hand-drawn caricatures by a very famous artist, Al Hirschfeld, that is no longer with us, but he had a very distinct style of caricature drawing. So you look around the walls and you see a lot of that, and the food is certainly wonderful. And a lot of the food is kind of a nod to the original Brown Derby too. If you've ever had a Cobb salad, I don't know if you know this or not, but the Cobb salad was actually invented and created at the original Brown Derby, and they serve a very mean, good Cobb salad at the studio version of the Brown Derby as well.
It's been a long time since I had a chance to eat at the Brown Derby, but it always felt very elegant to me, like
Yes.
you were part of the classic old-time Hollywood.
Right. You expect to see like Greta Garbo in her gown walking down, or
Yeah.
Clark Gable or someone like that.
Yeah, exactly. Top hat is optional, I guess.
Right.
That's a good one. All right, number 5 was Brown Derby. So number 6, last one on the list, back over to me. I'm going to go to a spot that's pretty easy to walk past, but I think really shines when it comes to its food selection, and that is Hollywood and Vine. So not very far from the intersection of Hollywood and Sunset. Head down a little bit further and look for the neon up above for Hollywood and Vine. So a lot of character meals served there these days, but I think the restaurant really sets itself apart as a buffet when it comes to the selection and the quality of food. So things like peel and eat shrimp and pork and salmon, and even all you want soft serve ice cream. So a lot of great choices at Hollywood and Vine. A popular spot too for dining packages if you want to get into Fantasmic without waiting or without the commitment of a fast pass. It's good to book a dining package there too.
You know, it's amazing. I cleaned my plate at dinner. I ate all my vegetables. You know, pot roast is gone. And after this podcast, I'm like starving.
Yeah, how about a rack of ribs? Does that sound pretty good?
Yeah, I'm thinking, you know. Yeah, just not before we head over to Rock and Roller Coaster, I think.
Yeah, it's probably not the right order in which to do things, is it? That's when you hit the Scoops ice cream on the way out of the Rock and Roller Coaster as opposed to the way in.
Right.
And the people behind you will thank you. So, all right, the list of the top 6 restaurants at Disney's Hollywood Studios. So number 1, the Sci-Fi Dine-In. Number 2, the Fairfax Fair. Number 3, 50s Primetime. Number 4, Mama Melrose. Number 5, the Brown Derby. And number 6, Hollywood and Vine. So, Brian, if people are interested in what you're up to today, how can they find that out?
Well, the best way is to head over to my website, which is wdwithme.com. You can also follow me on Twitter. I like being followed, so follow me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @WDWithMeBrian, and I try and tweet quite a bit. Usually try and do that from the former Imagineer's point of view. I've been podcasting from Disney all day today, or not podcasting, I've been periscoping, shooting some live videos throughout the parks today, and tweeting some pictures. And so yeah, head on over to wdwithme.com. If anyone is ever interested, if you're going to be visiting Orlando, or if you live here and you're going to the parks and you want to get a cool kind of walk through the parks with a former Imagineer, or have dinner with a former Imagineer, I am always up for that as well. So look me up on my website, email me, and I will be glad to come join you guys.
I've always enjoyed the time that we spent together in the parks. Always learned something new. And I know I've told you this before, but I really enjoy your Twitter feed. I'm not a Twitter expert at all, but you pick out great articles and make great comments on what you do post to Twitter. So it's a fun feed to follow.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. At WD with me, Brian.
All right.
Follow me now. That was my sci-fi dine-in driver effect.
I was tracking with you. I got
diner.
it. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Brian, for joining me today.
Thanks, Herb.
Today we head out to the background music of the Animation Courtyard at Disney's Hollywood Studios. And yes, we've made it through the list of the top 6 restaurants at Disney's Hollywood Studios, but our conversation isn't over. I'd love to hear what you think. Do you have something you'd like to add? You can do that by visiting the show notes page at worldofwalt.com/86. It's a page that works very nicely on desktops, tablets, and smartphones. Leave your comments in the comments section. I'd like to thank everyone who's been in touch with me, and I'd like to invite you to follow me on social media. On Facebook, I'm at facebook.com/worldofwalt and pinterest.com/worldofwalt. If you like today's podcast, I would appreciate it if you would spread the word. Tell your family and your friends about it. To wrap up for today, I would like to give you a heartfelt thank you for spending some of your time with me. I'd also like to thank everyone who visits the worldofwalt.com site, where you can read interesting Disney articles and chat with other folks who enjoy Disney in the forums and the comment sections. By listening here and by visiting the site, you allow me to share the fun of Disney with you, and that is extremely cool. Thank you so much for being a part of it. So until next time, my friend, may God bless you.
So there's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow shining at the end of every day. There's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow, just a dream